Okay, VC, this is Chris. I'm here to do a Memorial Day version of Gimme 10 from 1961. Or this will be more of a Gimme approximately 10. And you can see I'm in this outdoor setting, and my mother's cat Shirley is over here trying to help out. So if you see a tail like just wandered by, you might hear a cry. But this is give me approximately 10, because I just threw in some other ones in addition to the classical stuff. I had watched a few days ago, Rob at Sound Strange had done his 1961, so I figure I better get busy. So to start with, hopefully this won't be too drowned out by the backlighting, but the four preps on campus, 1961 on Capitol. This includes Ed Cobb, who went on to become a producer or sound engineer for people like the Standells and others. So there's the four preps on campus. And to get into, well, let's see, before we get into the classical, so some keyboard-based blues, Mead Lux Lewis, piano and Celeste solos from recorded in 61, November 1st of 61 on Riverside. There's the back, and there's the Riverside blue label. So Mead Lux Lewis. Miles Davis in person, Friday night at the Blackhawk in San Francisco, Volume 1. So this was issued in 61. This is on Columbia. This Columbia 6i label. And just a couple more non-classicals. 1961, Homer and Jethro. Songs my mother never sang. On this black RCA label. There's the back cover. Homer and Jethro, and then sort of in the same line as that, Smothers Brothers at the Purple Onion. This is on Mercury. So there's the black Mercury micro groove label, and the back cover. Now the classical stuff, it'll be bookended by Beethoven. So here's the first one. 33 Variations on a Waltz by Diabelli, Opus 120. Julius Katchen is the pianist. So this is on the London label. So there's this reddish or orangish London label. Beethoven. And then we move on to Spain, I think. Manuel de Falla, or de Falla. On the Turnabout label, Alicia de Larrocha is the pianist. She had an affinity for several of the Spanish composers. So there's the turnabout label. Recordings, this was put out in 1978, but recordings for 1961. Manuel de Falla. And Van Cliburn, the pianist, doing pieces by Prokofiev Concerto No. 3 and Edward MacDowell Concerto No. 2, backed by Chicago Symphony Orchestra with Walter Handel as the conductor. And this is on this red RCA label. Living stereo. And then some Felix Mendelssohn. Songs Without Words. Performed by Guiomar Noves. This is also on the Turnabout label. Mostly solo piano, but now we're getting in some electronic stuff. 8 electronic pieces by Todd Dockstader. This was released in '68, but the compositions were from '61. So it's piece 1 through 8 are their titles. Small booklet that goes along with this. The typical Folkways issue. Todd Dockstader. 8 electronic pieces. And then more in that line. Princeton, Columbia-Princeton Electronic Music Center on the Columbia label. So this has pieces by Otto Luning, Vladimir Ushachevsky, Milton Babbitt, Mario Davidovsky, a few others. Back to classical. I mean, not one last before we get there. So this is Don Jacoby and the College All-Stars, Swinging Big Sound, on the Betica label. It's pink Betica. And it is notable for, besides the music, Keith Jarrett from the Berklee School of Music was part of the rhythm section on piano, as you would expect. So Don Jacoby and the College All-Stars. All right, last several. Vladimir Horowitz, pianist, in homage to Franz Liszt on the RCA Victor Red Seal. And we have Earl Wild, pianist. He's doing 2 concertos for piano and orchestra, one by Aaron Copland and one by Gian Carlo Menotti. is on the Vanguard label. So Aaron Copland was the conductor on his piece, and Jorge Meister was the conductor on the Menotti piece, but Earl Wild was pianist for both. And Richard Wagner, Sonata in B-flat major, album Blatt and album Sonata. Elisabeth Tufts was the pianist, and this is on the Remington label. Nice, very heavy album here. So some Wagner solo piano, recorded in Europe, 1961. And then the last of these albums, some Johannes Brahms with Glenn Gould as the pianist. This is on Columbia. Gray Masterworks label. So 10 intermezzi for piano. And then just to wrap it up with Beethoven again, this box set, 21 albums, solo piano works with Alfred Brendel, well, not solo piano, but piano music, a lot of solo piano in here. Alfred Brendel is the pianist, and various conductors. This is on the Murray Hill label. Back in the good old days where Publishers Central Bureau was operating out in New Jersey, Murray Hill Records was putting these box sets out with all the major composers. So this is appreciation and notes on the composer and the music in the famous essay, The Appassionata by Romain Rolland. All right, so that concludes this Memorial Day edition of Gimme 10 for 1961. We'll be back in the future. Shirley's laying over there in the grass. Maybe we can get a shot of her. If you see that at the base of the tree. Not sure, but I'm out in the midst of the backyard enjoying the shade. It's in the mid 90s or low 90s today, but you know, it's pretty nice right here. So thanks everybody, and I will see you later.